Hi Aries, and welcome to your March 2019 general reading. So I'm just going to choose an additional guidance card for you before I shuffle the deck for your general reading. Okay, give me a minute guys. So you've got the card Imagine. Okay, so Imagine has got quite a few different meanings. It talks about the creative ability that we all have to dream a better future, but it's also got a message about bringing fantasy into form. So the difference between a genius and a non-genius is action. Oh, very Aries comment as well. So some of you might be called to act, to bring forward some sort of vision you have for your life, something that you really want to happen. Or some of you just might be called to spend time imagining, feeling the future that you want to manifest. That's what Imagine is, but we'll clarify it more as we pull the rest of your cards. It's a very beautiful card to have. Oh, give me a minute guys, because the cards are a little bit jumpy for you, which might mean there's a specific message coming across for a couple of viewers. That's what tends to happen that way. If the reading's not for you, just send good vibes to whoever it's for, Aries, okay? So give me clear-cut messages for the sign of Aries for March 2019. So the first two cards are going to reflect what wants to be left behind. You've got the Empress card with the Wheel of Fortune. Oh my gosh, that's two huge major arcanas. The Wheel of Fortune is about timing. Some of you might have had a baby. The Empress is about family. She's about love. She's about nature. And the Wheel of Fortune represents time. So what on earth are these saying? I'm going to pull the rest of the cards, okay? Queen of Cups is what you desire. The Star card as your gift, very, very beautiful. The Challenge is the Ten of Pentacles. What's showing up in your relationship house is the Hierophant. Some of you are definitely getting married, starting a family. The Empress and the Hierophant represent that. Entering into some sort of commitment maybe. The Magician in your money and work. Three of Wands at soul position. The Judgment as the outcome. Oh my gosh, Aries, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcanas out of 9 cards, which means there's a very big, very spiritual lesson going on. It also talks about a chapter of your life that you can't prevent, sort of destiny, a sort of feeling that there's something greater in charge of your life. Sometimes when we get a lot of major arcanas, it talks about a lot of spiritual lessons, a lot of coming together of things, but let's start right at the beginning. So what is the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune about? Why is Aries leaving this behind? Okay, some of you might be going through a separation, okay? I just have to say that because the Five of Discs is a card about being separated and divided, okay? The Empress can be about family and the Wheel of Fortune is about time. So for some of you, there can be a separation, or some of you are leaving behind that feeling about being disconnected. Chiron has gone into Aries, which means the wounded healer is in your sign for the next 7 years. Chiron is the rainbow bridge. It's the energy that connects us with the divine. So maybe a lot of you are going to be going through a lot of healing around that sense of being separate, or healing around the I am energy, which is Aries. Very interesting energy you're leaving behind here. So it can definitely be about housing, family, or some of you are leaving behind the 5 of Discs, which is a sense of being separate from love, which is very beautiful because your gift is the Star card. The Star card is about transparency. It's the card of Aquarius. It's the card of truth. Okay, so the age of Aquarius, the new age that people have been talking about for a long time, is the age of truth. It's the age of being open, being transparent. It's the energy of grace. And this is what you most want, is this beautiful energy of the Star card. So some of you, maybe there's been a division between people in your family, people that you love. Maybe for some of you, there's been a rift between you and your heart. And the Star card is the gift with Chiron and Aries. Is talking about an awful lot of healing of that wound. But the healing of a wound comes through transparency, grace, openness, allowing yourself to be seen, to be intimate, and about sharing who you truly are, okay? Now what you most want is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is walking towards the Star card. The Queen of Cups might be a water sign person. She might be someone like a wise counsellor, a wise therapist. She's also about compassion. She's about love, all those qualities that represent our soul, okay? And this is what you most want. And because this Queen is walking towards the Star card, there's a real blessed energy here, Aries, around some sort of healing. It might be for some of you a healing of a very deep rift. And if that rift isn't in the external world, it's in your own heart, within your own core. Very, very beautiful. The challenge is a 10 of Pentacles, which might mean there might be a bit of challenges around money, around sharing of money, because the 10 of Discs is a very open card. So when we're that open, we're that open when we're coming from a place of prosperity and not lack. So you're leaving behind the 5 of Discs, but the challenge is still the 10, which would seem to me that you're leaving behind the state of lack, the sense of being separate from your own divinity, grace, the divine. But something is not fully came to fruition yet. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But the Magician in your money and work sector would talk about an awful lot of energy for new beginnings, trying to access an awful lot of spiritual power in order to start something new, because the Magician holds all the aces. He is about the law of attraction, but remember, the law of attraction only works if we're not resonating from a state of lack. So the law of attraction means we get what we resonate at. So this 5 of Pentacles energy needs to be left right in the past. And even though it might be a process of waiting for this 10 of Pentacles, the fact the Magician's in your financial house would sort of seem there's an awful lot of energy about going forward, starting something new. That sort of energy, but don't forget the law of attraction. You get exactly what you're vibrating at. So if you're vibrating at worry, you get more worry. If you're vibrating at the aspect, the energy of prosperity, it's prosperity that you get. Okay? It's a very, very subtle energy, the law of attraction. The Hierophant is showing up in your relationship house. The Hierophant is about commitment. And what's the Hierophant about for Aries, by the way, please? So the Hierophant can be about marriage. Any other message, please, here? Okay, you've got the Ten of Cups. And what you most want is the Queen of Cups looking towards the Star card. These are all really, really deep, deep soul energies. They're all about the energy of love. This is also the rainbow after a storm. So maybe some of you are healing a rift and you're coming back into a state of union, or maybe some of you are trying to, the Hierophant would be about seeking wise counsel, and so is the Queen of Cups. So some of you might be going for help, for support, in order to bring about more openness and more transparency to a situation. Okay, some of you are definitely getting married here, or the Hierophant and the Ten of Cups. Doesn't have to be, because the fact the Star card is your gift would say to me, the Star card quite often comes when you've been in quite a difficult phase, and this would be the healing of that difficult phase. And that doesn't always mean, Aries, that everything becomes hunky-dory, but what it might mean is peace and transparency and straightforwardness being brought into the situation. Because at a soul level, you've got the Three of Wands. So I'm reading the Three of Wands very differently recently, because it's got a notorious meaning of waiting for your ships to come in, which is one of the understandings of this card. But the Three of Wands for me recently has represented turning your back a little bit on things in order to do an awful lot of soul reflection, because he's looking over the water, and the water represents our very deep emotional life. So there's a sense of you wanting to open your life way up, way beyond the horizons that you could have ever imagined for yourself, and to go into new territory, because there's also birds and they're flying over the ocean. So there's a feeling here, Aries, of wanting to enter into a brand new territory in your life. And that's also the meaning of all these major arcanas, that there's a sort of, and I know it's a bit of a cliche, spiritual awakening, but Chiron is the planet between the outer planets and the inner planets, so it's a rainbow bridge. Absolutely massive healing energy, the Chiron. And I'm wondering if that's what all these cards are representing, that you're shifting into a new era. And boy, is it going to be a very beautiful era. Your outcome is a Judgment card, which is coming back from the dead. It's the opposite side of the Death card. So the Death card is when we go through changes, and sometimes it can represent that feeling of being in a little bit of a dark night of the soul, but only because you're in the puber state. And then we emerge in the Judgment card, and we feel we've got new life, we're entering into a new chapter, we feel that energy of being born again. This is a hugely profound reading, and I feel I need a little bit more support here. Give me some more messages for Aries, please. Okay, this is very, very odd. You've got the 9 and 10 of Swords, okay? Now, I don't read the 10 of Swords the way that other people read the 10 of Swords, okay? With the 2 of Cups. The 10 of Swords is a card that comes after the 9 of Swords. Obviously, the 9 of Swords is living in a state of fight or flight. Fight or flight is imagining all the worst situations that could ever happen. It's living off your adrenal glands, living off anxiety. The way out the Nine of Swords is a Ten of Swords, which is a complete leap of faith into the unknown, okay? It's very, very scary to leap into the unknown, Aries, okay? It takes tremendous faith, and it takes an immense connection with spirit to say, I would rather take a risk and see what happens than to remain tight in this state of fear and anxiety. And it's with the Two of Cups, and it's almost a feeling like there's some of yous, I have to say, are beginning a brand new relationship here, and it's very, very, it's not your everyday relationship, Aries, I have to say, but there's no way around it that some of yous might be ending a relationship because of what you're most wanting is this Queen of Cups looking to the Star card, which is a state of transparency, being open and being real and being straightforward. Okay, now some of yous might be asked to, if any of yous are considering starting a new relationship or starting a new business or starting a new life chapter, you might be asked to take a huge leap of faith into the unknown. That's what the Ten of Swords is, because it's the end of being controlled by your mind. Because our minds always want us to keep safe and keep small. Aries is about going forward and acting on the impulse that comes from your soul. So some of yous are being drawn. Some of yous might be completing a chapter, and it looks like it's completing in a very beautiful way. Some of yous might be starting a brand new chapter. Definitely based on love, marriage and commitment, if that's what you're looking for. Or if there's something ending, it looks to me that it's reaching a point of equilibrium. The Star card gets to a point where there's peace between people. So it's a very, very beautiful, beautiful card to show up. So why is the Ten of Pentacles a challenge for Aries? Why is the Ten of Pentacles a challenge? Oh, the cards flew out the deck again. Because of the Hanged Man, yeah. Typical. Not feeling that you're totally in control of a process. The Hanged Man's very similar to the Ten of Swords. Very, very spiritual energies. And that's why a lot of people don't like them, because they like to feel that they're in charge of their life processes. But none of us are in charge of our life process. We are and we're not. It's a sort of paradox. But really, life is a continual flow of new cycles starting, old ones completing, in order for a new one to start. And that's how the rhythms of life work. And there seems to me that you're involved in some huge, huge, very, very beautiful process here. And if it's a process of completion or a process of new beginnings, it's all going to end up with you saying thank you. So the outcome is absolutely reassured to turn into a very, very beautiful thing. I think some of you have been asked to take a massive leap of faith. Like going into new territories, a bit like the Fool card that you've never been down. And to risk that you're going to be okay as you walk down and walk into these new chapters. Very, very beautiful reading. And I really hope that whatever Aries is going on for you, because you are on a new chapter of your life now, the healing is going to be around the I am principle. And the healing is going to be around your sense of self-identity. Some of you might be birthing it for the first time, because that sense of your individuality, that's what the Magician card would mean in money and work, maybe trying to birth new projects that are yours and yours alone. Very, very interesting. Yeah, exactly what I've said. The Fool card is about birthing this brand new episode. I'm really excited for the whole of humanity with Chiron going into Aries, because it's that healing of, you know, that part of us that feels quite impotent, that part of us that feels they can't do, not good enough. That's what we're healing, and very, very excited about the next 7 years. Okay, Aries, a little bit complex, and I think it's complex because you got a very, very spiritual reading rather than a specific reading, and I wish you all the best. Loads of love. Bye.